for those of you who are kind of, who don't feel like you like your work in the beginning, trust and believe that you're gonna get better as time progresses. And oh, you're here. Hey DIYers! So today we're going to be learning how to make a bandeau with an elastic back with straps. And the materials that you're gonna need today are measuring tape, some fabric. Make sure that your fabric that you pick out is nice and stretchy. Of course, some elastic to match your fabric. Fabric scissors. Some pins. And make sure that you have some thread that will match your fabric that you picked. So, are you guys ready to get started? This should be fun today. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention before we get started. Make sure that you have an iron for this project. It will definitely help with the process of making your outfit look as clean as possible. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to measure around our bust area. So for my measurement, I'm at 35. Make note of this measurement because it's going to be very important for this project. So the next measurement that you're going to do is how long you want your bandeau to be. So I'm going to measure from the top of my chest area down like so. And I'm going to measure how long I want my bandeau to be. It really doesn't matter how long you make it, obviously, as long as it covers you up and you like the length. I'm gonna make mine 9 inches. Okay guys, so we're on the floor now and we have all our materials here because we're gonna be working on cutting out the fabric down here. And first thing you're gonna do is you're going to lay out your fabric. You're gonna fold it in half with these edges folded up against to make sure that it's laid out nice and flat, like so. And once you do that, you're going to take all your measurements that you have. You should have a measurement across your bust and you should have a measurement for the length of your bandeau. So my bust measurement was 35. We're going to divide 35, or we're going to divide your bust measurement by 2. So 35 divided by 2 for me, that's 17.5 inches. We're not going to exactly use that number quite yet. We're going to divide it by 2 again because we have our fabric folded in half. So 17.5 divided by 2 is 8 3/4 for me. So basically you're dividing the numbers by 2 twice. And my bandeau width is going to be 8.75. And the reason that we do this is because we're going to be cutting out the front piece for the bandeau, not necessarily the whole piece for the front and the back. However, if you were making a bandeau where you weren't using elastic for the back, you would use the entire 17.5 inches for the front and the back of the bandeau. So without further ado, we're going to get started. We're going to lay out our measuring tape and I'm going to cut out my measurement. I'm going to mark my measurement at 8 3/4 down here. And mark whatever measurement that you have for the width of your bandeau after dividing the number. So I measured 8.75 down here. And now that you've marked your measurements, I'm gonna make sure that this fabric is nice and has a nice and smooth edge. If you guys haven't cut anything out of your fabric, your fabric will already be prepared, but I've been using this fabric for other purposes as well. So, okay, so I have a nice clean edge here. Now that you have your width of your fabric marked down, you're going to mark the length. So for the length of my fabric, it was 9.5 inches. I might actually add another 1/2 inch on it because you're going to also be hemming the top of this bandeau. So I might up my measurement to 10 inches. So if you'd like, you can add an extra 1/2 inch to your measurement, just in case, just to make sure that it's long enough to cover up your bust. So I'm at 10 inches here. Also, just to be clear, I had measured my length at 9 inches, and then I added an extra 1/2 inch for hemming, but now I'm choosing to add another extra 1/2 inch because I'm hemming the top and the bottom of my bandeau. Okay, so I have this here, and I'm just going to trace the lines. We have 10-inch measurement here, and we have an 8 3/4 measurement right here. Whatever your length is, you mark it vertically, and your width, you're going to mark it horizontally, the way that your fabric should be stretching. If you have a 4-way stretch fabric where it equally stretches at both the length and the width, you should be fine either way. This stuff is a little bit more important to know for more complicated projects. I can explain why in future videos if I choose to teach you guys how to make a jacket or something like that. Okay, so now that you have something that looks something like a rectangle or square, you're going to cut this out, open it up. It should be a big rectangle. So now what we're going to do is we are going to hem. We're going to hem the bottom, we're going to hem the top, and we're going to hem the sides to make sure that it has a nice clean finish. It doesn't matter that we did not add an extra 1/2 inch on the sides of your bandeau because the elastic will accommodate for it. So before we hem, we're going to iron our hems down so that we're not struggling with the machine as we're trying to fold the fabric over. It's going to be ironed down like so. Okay, I will see you after ironing. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm at my sewing machine, and I have, as you can see, I have ironed the hemming around each section, each edge of my bandeau, so it looks like so. I folded it in twice so that the raw edge is not exposed, and I have pinned it for extra security, and now I'm going to sew around each edge of this bandeau so that it looks nice and clean. So I have my sewing machine on. I'm going to place it. Which way do I want to start? I think I'm going to start on this side, right here. Okay, now we have this all sewn around the edges. It looks nice and clean. And when you flip it the other way, as you can see, it looks way neater. This is the front of your bandeau. So now let's move on to the back. Okay guys, so you're still here? I hope so. So we're going to be doing the back of our bandeau now, and we're going to be using our elastic for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our elastic around just our back like so. You don't need as long elastic as I have right here. You probably just need about a yard of elastic. So I'm measuring it from one side of my back to the other side, and I'm going to pull it so that it's nice and snug right here, and you should have something like this. And when you've gotten the amount of snugness that you want from this, you're going to let go of it on one side. You're going to cut the length that you got. So we're going to grab, I'm a lefty, so desired length of elastic, so, and just cut 2 more of these pieces out because it's going to be 3 pieces on the back of your bandeau. All right. Okay, so I have my 3 pieces of elastic that are cut out here, all in the same size, same length, same size. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pin it to the back of the bandeau. If you're unsure as to how long to cut your elastic, even after measuring it to your back, here's a note of what I did. So I measured the length of this elastic right here, and it's 13.5. It's approximately 13.5 inches, which is 4 inches shorter than the half. It's 4 inches shorter than half of my original bust measurements. Not sure if that helps any of you, but okay, so I'm pinning the elastic to the back like so. I'm not really taking much in. You might have to adjust it if it's a little bit too loose on you. The reason that we try to make it nice and tight is that is for it to stay on, and for the extra support, I'm going to teach you guys how to add straps. Okay, so we got this here, and now I'm pinning the bottom elastic. I will show you guys when I have it pinned on, and doing the exact same thing. I love how this one is turning out. I hope you guys like how yours is turning out as well. It's really a simple but cute thing to make. So this is the back. I have the top and the bottom pinned, and I'm just gonna pin another one in the middle for extra support. Honestly, it could be fine like this. You guys could try it out like this and see how it turns out. My concern is that it starts puckering a little bit here and starts like bubbling, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna pin a third one. Right in between the 2 that we just pinned. And it should be like so. So now let's head over to the sewing machine and we're going to sew all of these down. All right, now we're gonna line it up. Make sure that we don't sew on any pins. Remove the pins from one of the elastics. Make sure it's nice and straight, and let's sew away. Take your time, it's no race. You also do not need an industrial machine for something like this. I've just gotten accustomed to using my industrial machine. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Move this down. There we go. You know, sewing is just so therapeutic to me. Like, I know a lot of people do not like sewing, but the sewing portion is my favorite. I just love seeing the piece that I'm creating come to life. I've made a bandeau top like this before, but it was really rushed. This one is a lot neater than the original one that I came up with. And this one is in a lot nicer fabric. I might show you guys at the end like how my first one came out. Oops. Okay. We're gonna snip. This is a thread scissors right here. Not required, but it's definitely convenient. We're gonna snip all the loose threads. Okay, so let's head over to the next side. Here we go. Oh gosh. And we're all good here. I honestly love teaching people how to make things just as much as I enjoy just sewing on my own. I just love sharing what I learned. I love sharing my knowledge. A lot of the stuff I learned how to do, I taught myself. Like, yes, I go to school for fashion, but I've been sewing since before that. Like, I've been sewing since like 4 years before I started college. So I did have prior knowledge on this, and I just say, for those of you who are who don't feel like you like your work in the beginning, trust and believe that you're gonna get better as time progresses, and your work is just gonna start looking more and more polished. And some tips for you guys, I'd recommend definitely like checking out clothes in designer stores just to see how they sew the clothes. Like, maybe if you have a chance, you can flip the clothes inside out and really look at the stitching and really look at how they make their clothes look so polished. I'd strongly recommend ironing your garment as much as possible throughout the construction process, because the more you iron it, the better it will turn out at the end. And definitely just take your time, practice, challenge yourself to more and more difficult projects. Thing about me is, like, I'm constantly challenging myself. Like, I just love being put up to doing projects where I'm not sure if I know how to do it, or I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I'm just putting myself up to it. And trust and believe, like, I do have failed projects. I do have times where I don't like my work. I do have times where I feel like it's not really up to my standards, but as long as you just keep going and you try again, you get up, you fall down 3 times, you get up, you're just gonna get better and better with time. Like, you can always try this tutorial again and make this top in many different colors. Make some for your friends, make some just to look good with different outfits. This is a very basic yet cute top. Yeah, just a little bit of a pep talk. Okay, guys. So, I have the front of this bandeau, and I have the back. It is a little bit dark in here. Let me see. I have the front. I have the back, actually. As you guys can see, all the elastic here, neatly sewn, flipped in. I might trim some of this right here to make it look a little bit prettier. Optional. And I have the front. So now, you guys can honestly choose not to put spaghetti straps on this, and it should be fine. But for my watchers who... Okay, guys, so we are back on the floor once again, and I am going to be teaching you guys how to cut out straps for our newly made bandeau. So I decided that I'm going to make my straps about 13 inches long after measuring across from my bust to my back, where I think that the bandeau will stop at. And here we go. Let's get started. So I have 13 inches measured here. This time I'm measuring it lengthwise down my fabric, and my fabric is stretched this way still. So I have 13 inches. I'm going to mark 13 inches here and right here. And I'm going to measure 4 inches for the width of the strap. This is a moderately thick strap that I'm putting on my bandeau. But if you guys want to do more like a spaghetti strap, I would recommend maybe making this at about 1.5 inches, making the width 1.5 inches for the strap, keeping in mind that you're going to be sewing a 1/2 inch seam allowance. You're going to be sewing using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So we have to keep that in mind when we're making our straps, so that we have enough room to flip it inside out. And if you're going to be sewing a strap that's that thin, I would recommend getting a tool called a strap turner. I forgot the name, but I would recommend getting a tool that will help you turn the strap inside out, or else you might be struggling for a little bit. But with that being said, I'm going to be measuring 4 inches here. going to be measuring 4 inches this way as well. And then I'm going to be connecting them down like this. I probably should be using an actual ruler, but we're already here, so this would definitely make things a little bit easier for you guys using a ruler rather than a measuring tape. Okay, so I have my strap here, and I'm going to cut it out. And because the fabric is still folded in half, we already have our 2 straps that are measured and about to be cut. After you cut your strap out, I will see you back at the sewing machine. Okay guys, I started sewing already. Forgot to flip the camera back on, but I basically pressed this with the right sides facing together like so, and I started sewing at a 1/2 inch seam allowance right here, as you could see, and I'm just going to sew the length of my strap down, and I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. Take your time on your sewing. I just sew pretty fast because I'm used to doing this, but please take your time, don't hurt yourself, and I will see you after you finish sewing both. Okay, we're back. I've sewn both. Right sides are together on the inside. Now I'm going to flip the strap inside out so that I can attach it to my bandeau. This is the thread. This is the strap flipper that I was trying to talk about. It has a hook at the top, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pull this through to the other side. You guys don't have to have this tool. It just helps if you have it for pulling through spaghetti straps, but realistically for a strap this thick. So now I am going to grab my bandeau. Probably should have made these straps a little bit longer, but let's see what happens. I'm gonna grab my bandeau and I'm going to attach the straps. I probably should iron these straps ideally before sewing them on, but I think we should be fine here. You know, I always have an issue with making the straps a little bit too long, and now this time around I feel like I made the straps a little bit too short and I'm a little bit upset, but I hope that I didn't make them too short. I mean, you can always cut 2 more out and make them longer, but you know, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to stick with this. It should be okay. So now I'm going to sew the straps down with my machine, being careful not to sew over any pin because that will make your needle break and fly in your face, and that's not fun. Here we go. And let's do this. We're almost done, guys. Is this exciting? You guys can even put little or like big buttons right here. And that would be a look, definitely. This is a very basic tutorial. It's a lot of steps, sort of, if you're a beginner, but it's really not that difficult to do. It's way easier than my glove tutorial that I did maybe a month ago. If you guys have seen it. If you guys haven't, like, you can check it out. Okay, and now sewing this one down right on top of the little elastic here. Whew, I'm hoping that this strap is not too short. Let us see, let us see. Okay. You know, another thing I noticed with doing these videos is that I learn more through teaching you guys as well. I learn through teaching people. I learn from my errors. Sometimes I make errors in my videos, but I try to explain to you guys what errors I made, so hopefully you can correct them or not make the same mistakes that I did. But yeah, it's all a learning process. Alright guys, so I think we're all set now. Turn our machine off. Cut any loose threads that you may have. And I'm going to try it on for you guys. Yay! Hey guys, so I have finished my bandeau top and I finished the straps to go with it. As you can see, it fits me very well, and this is the front of it right here. I'm going to show you guys the back. Have the elastic on. It stretches quite a bit. It's very comfortable. It's very casual. You can pair it with a lot of things. Very basic top, basic crop top to go with maybe a pair of jeans, with the flared pants, with the skirt to go out with your girls. My only suggestion is that you should extend the straps maybe a little bit more, because make it a little bit longer, because 13-inch straps weren't quite cutting it for me. They were a little bit too tight, so I extended my strap by 3 inches. So I recut a strap out, and this is a 16-inch strap right here, and as you can see, like, it fits me better. It's more comfortable. If you guys have more like stretchier fabrics, like a 4-way stretch fabric that you're using, the 13-inch strap might work for you. However, this is a little bit more it's not as stretchy, so you know. Yeah, but I hope you guys liked this tutorial. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Comment below if you have any questions or comments or anything that you'd like to let me know about in this video. I can re-explain some of the things that I've said throughout the course of this video if anything's not clear to you guys. But yeah, like, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. Bye.